Yeah, yeah, wouldn't end. We back with another one for the youths in them. Yeah, young, brilliant minds, future in sight. Got the power to make change, make the world ignite. Let nobody say you can't achieve. Your dreams are seeds, someone just watch them grow. But you gotta believe in them. The youth effect, we're raising up the youth effect. Can't hold us down. The youth effect, we breaking ground. The youth effect, they gonna hear us roar. Educate, we get the key, unlock the potential. A lesson every day, knowledge essential. Standing tall, walking proud, let your voice be heard. Unite together as one, spread the love with every word. The youth effect, we're raising up. The youth effect, can't hold us down. The youth effect, we breaking ground. Yeah, yeah, wouldn't end. We back with another one for the youths in them. Yeah, young, brilliant minds, future in sight. Got the power to make change, make the world ignite. Let nobody say you can't achieve. Your dreams are seeds, someone just watch them grow. But you gotta believe in them. The youth effect, we're raising up. The youth effect, can't hold us down. The youth effect, we breaking ground. The youth effect, they gonna hear us roar. Educate, we get the key, unlock the potential. A lesson every day, knowledge essential. Standing tall, walking proud, let your voice be heard. Unite together as one, spread the love with every word. The youth effect, we're raising up. The youth effect, can't hold us down. The youth effect, we breaking ground. The youth effect, they gonna hear us roar. Educate, we get the key, unlock the potential. A lesson every day, knowledge essential. Standing tall, walking proud, let your voice be heard. Unite together as one, spread the love with every word. The youth effect, we're raising up. The youth effect, can't hold us down. The youth effect, we breaking ground. The youth effect, they gonna hear us roar. Create, initiate, push through, no limits. Go ahead and live it up. Respect, positivity, you on your way. Break down walls, build bridges.
The Monday, and thank you so much for joining me. I'm your host, Kathy Robinson Sayan, on the Youth Effect. Wherever you are watching us tonight, let me say thank you so much for joining us. And you may be looking at us on SBE Radio Canada, TDN Network 1 on YouTube. You could also be looking at us on TDN ENT. On IG, you could be looking at my live at Kathy Robinson Peter. You could be also watching us on tdntv.net. You could be listening to us on tdnradio.net. And so I want to thank you again for the honor of your time, spending that time with us. Thank you so, so much. We greatly appreciate you coming back and visiting with us and listening to the sharings that we have so that we can all become a better society for our young people. We say they are the future, but they're really the present, because without them being good, stable, resilient beings and being the maximum potential that they can be, what kind of present will we have? What kind of present and future will they have? Excuse me. So, as you know, the youth effect serves as a conduit for these young people's voices and expressions to bridge the gap between our generations to make this a more social, a more harmonious society for all of us. Today, we have a little bit of excitement for you. We're going to have a two-part program. On our first part of the program, we'll be speaking about morning magic, how we can create routines that sets our family up for success. And the second part, we'll have a guest, a special guest, who will be addressing parental expectations on children. And when we come to that second part, we will give you the topic in full. Okay, but just keep that in mind. So to keep our minds focused on this, we're going to be talking right now. You have moi alone, solo, talking to you on Morning Magic, crafting a morning routine that sets your family up for success. And a lot of this comes with my experience as well. So I'll start with a little story. Yeah, there we go again. I have to put another 25 cents in the jar. So the story goes like this. I was at work one morning. By 7 o'clock, I would be at work in the morning. And I got this call from my daughter, and she was having a meltdown. And The purpose of that meltdown is something someone said to her in the early mornings, because when I leave, they're still sleeping. Oh, she was just melted down. And I had to stop for a minute and think of what I need to do to help change that dynamic in the morning. Because when your child, or you, let us not even go back to a child, because sometimes we as adults, we cannot relate to our children because we believe, oh, they're children and the only thing that they have to do is to get up, brush your teeth, look pretty, go to school, do what they have to do because they have bed, they have a shelter, and they have everything that they need for them to be successful. But it doesn't work that way, okay? Because I know for me, there are certain things in my morning routine that would just mess up my day. Loud noise in the morning would aggravate me. Still does. But now as I'm older, I've learned tools, strategic tools in how to manage this level of frustration. And one of the things is mindfulness, my daily practice of mindfulness. And you get your tools, your coping skills that help you to get to this, because we cannot be growing older and not learning how to manage things, our pet peeves, right? So that is one of the things I learned that really struck out to me. Hmm. And then after that, your day is just done. My day should just be done. Yeah, waking out with loud noises in the morning, or having somebody come and wake me out of bed and frighten me. No, I have to stay in for a minute, savor the noises of the morning, the songs. I like to hear noises, the songs of the morning, my own breath, calm myself down and get ready for my day. Whatever that may look for you, that's what it looks like for me. And I know from young people, you know, it is the same thing. We want them to go to school to be successful. And what are some of the routines, you know, um, that we can help them explore, simple things that they can do to help create morning routines that work for busy parents and for children, whether it be small toddlers to bigger ones to the teens. Okay, and we know it has to be age appropriate for all of them. In the little ones, one of the things that has to do is reducing the level of uncertainty. Let them know what is coming. Okay, share with them what is coming. Prepare in the nights. So you prepare in the nights, you share, you ask them what things they want, if they can help them pack, get them involved. Okay, so first one is involvement. Involvement in prep, because especially the adolescents and the teens can sit down and have a conversation. And sometimes we tell them, go do that. We give them instructions without joining them in it. It also comes for us. My favorite word is intentionality. So all that falls in line with intentional parenting. What are we doing tomorrow? What do you expect tomorrow? So you can set goals. So you can do goal setting. So the first one would be involvement in preparation for the next day. Lay out their clothes, teach them how to prepare their snack in the night, because sometimes in the morning you're rushing what clothes they're going to wear. Sometimes we prepare it on a Sunday. When I went to school, we had to iron all our school clothes for the week on a Sunday night. No, a lot of the responsibility falls alone on the child to prepare everything. The child is not the parent. We are the parents. So that falls on us. And that taking up that burden on the child is allowing them to be children still. Sometimes we want our children to grow up too fast. Yes, we want to teach them responsibility, but there is a thin line between responsibility, learning responsibility, and giving them the parent role. They're not parents yet. So sit back in the nights, even though it can be just 15 minutes, have a conversation on all that is creating a relationship between you and your child. What would you like to do tomorrow? What do you like tomorrow to be looking like? What plans, what homework, have you done all your homework? Even though you were not there to help them with the homework, have a conversation about it. Show interest. At that point in time, you do not have your phone, no devices. It's one on one. We're having a one on one, a genuine conversation to show that we're interested. One of the things you have to say, you listen to understand, okay? Which means you don't prepare your answer while the child is speaking. You're going to miss out very, very important things. And don't believe we know all the answers. We do not have all the answers. Listen to them. Sometimes they have some really genuine responses to their own questions. Ask them what, why, where, when, how questions so that it triggers their critical thinking and they come up with their solutions on their own. If it's absurd because you don't want the child going to school with a midriff or short pants or whatever, whatever suits is your family culture, and have them to rethink it on their own. Give them probing questions. That is in preparing, in discussing goals for the next day. Listen, genuinely listen to understand, not to prepare a response or reaction to what they have to say. Okay. The third thing, why do we want to do all of this thing? Because children don't respond well to uncertainty. Prepare a routine. If you have to write down a chart, you wake up at 5 o'clock. Okay, so what do we do then? Help them. What do you do then? What would you like to do then? How long do you think it's going to take you to brush your teeth? How long is it going to get you out of the bed? Do you need one alarm? Do you need two alarms? You discuss with them because everybody is different. One of my children is also like this. She cannot deal with anything in the morning time. I don't think anybody can. One is more absorbed than the other. But the other one, I cannot touch her to wake up. The first one, I must touch her to wake up gently. The other one, you just have to call her name. Because by just a matter of touch, she's going to frighten out of her sleep. And that also will put off your day. So you're not going to set up your child for success if they got upset, if they got frightened out of their bed, if there was argument or noise in the household, um, if they left the car to go to school and they have to end up slamming the door because there was an argument, there was something, there was some level of judgment. Okay, so routines eliminate that level of uncertainty for them. If they know they have structure, okay, they have structure and they have a checklist, they know exactly what is expected of them and what they need to do, even within a time frame. So we're doing this, we're doing that. Remember too, you don't hold your child to a specific time. You can add plus or minus 2 minutes. So you're telling them they need to be ready by 6:15, but you really know it's going to be 6:20. But you have your own clock in your time. So you give that yourself some buffer time in that meantime. Okay? So you know that you're not going to be screaming. You're not going to be, oh, you're not ready yet. You're so long in the bathroom. Establish a routine with time. So you have your morning checklist. Okay, you have your morning checklist. You write down the task, you write down the time frame that they need to keep on to accomplish these tasks. I would suggest their bags packed in the night, regardless of how small they are. They can help pack their bags, help pack their things, lay out their clothes. That can help. You can always tweak it and change it in the morning. Another thing you can do is make mornings fun. One of the things I always remember and I loved, by 6 o'clock, my mother is always singing in the kitchen. And it was always a joyous time. Sometimes all of us joining the singing. So that is always stay part of me. It's like a tradition. We join in the singing, we hear her singing. Not because of the pans and forks, but whatever. It was her cooking one of her delicious foods. But that made the mornings something for me to look forward to. She still does it. And prioritize your self-care as well. You want to get up as a parent so you could be mindful, you could be focused, you could also set your goals for the day. Take a few minutes, just 5 minutes. whatever you believe in, whether it's praying or exercising, doing your workout, or whether, yes, you can do a workout in 5 minutes, even though it's stretches. Stretches are good for your body, and that's another thing, another topic in itself. But make sure you take that time to do you, because also when you reflect on your day before you go into that day, you are able to manage everything. You're more, I don't want to use the word in control, but your mindset, you're more poised, you have more calm, you're at a certain level of peace, and you're at a certain level of being resilient to be able to manage the issues of the day. Also to manage the surprising things that your children or child might spring on you or your partner, but then you will be in a better place to be able to deal with it. Another way you can make the mornings fun is by playing some music, putting on the TV if it's toddlers, there are some nice little children's programs. They play in the morning the music. I used to have a CD also to put in the car in the way to school, bring them to school, and would be singing along with the CD, as well as some fun children's music. You know, one of the things I suggested, like one of those mornings, like on a Friday morning, you can even do a scavenger hunt. They go looking around for little things. You can even write little notes for them. Put a little love note in your bag for your child. So when they get to school, they can see it. It helps. They're going to be grumpy. They are the child, you are the parent. There's no arguing that you need to do. You say what you have to say once, and then you give them the eye for the others. But there is no negotiation and no back and forth. When you go back and forth, you mess up your day, you mess up the child's day, everybody lives grumpy, and it benefits no one. And that is a major, major, major day breaker. It's a non-negotiable. We're not going to do this in the mornings. We're not going to say they want to fix their bed in the mornings. This is a tradition. Put it in the checklist and keep on putting it until they get it done. And sometimes they will not make the bed perfect, and that is okay, people. That is okay. If they just want to take the blanket and throw it over the bed, it's a start. So tomorrow you can come. What about if we tuck in that side of it? And then the next day, tuck in the other side of it. And do things gradually until they get it. But remember, they're never going to do things as perfectly as you. But allow them to do it in their own way. I'm not saying take away excellence, but as long as they do it to the best of their ability. And sometimes they're not putting in their best, but they did it. They did it. And you have to acknowledge that and praise them for that. Okay? Not being any sarcasm, not any sarcastic way, but praise them for the little things that they do. So in the morning is a time of praising them, of encouraging them. It's not about arguing and criticizing them before they leave the house. Because a child who lives with criticism is going to end up having a lot of low self-esteem, being extra. It's not shy, it's just cowardly, internalizing within themselves. And then we say they are shy. A lot of it is not being shy. It's a lot because they're afraid to express themselves, to voice their thoughts, because they have learned that their voice has no value. So if we have a mouthy child, we learn to curtail it and mold it, not break it. We don't want to break our children. Remember last week, one of our quotes was, it's easier to build strong men, children, than to fix broken men. So we are molding them. They're strong-willed, we are molding it, because they also need that to be, to learn their boundaries, to say no. And it's okay to say no. We're not telling them to stop saying no. It's okay to say no. If they say no for something, okay, what do you suggest? One thing my father taught me is, if you're going to criticize something or say no to something, then you should have a suggestion. It's not just about cutting down somebody's opinion or what somebody thinks. It's also offering a solution or a different option. So we've spoken about 4 things. We've spoken about prepping the night before. We've spoken about creating a morning checklist. We've spoken about making mornings fun, or whichever way that looks for you. You can even dance, have a 3-minute dance party. Prioritize your self care in terms of how you prep for the mornings. Okay. And we spoke about um in the night prep, we're speaking also about getting them involved, what they want for their snack. Help them to prepare this, help make them help to prepare the snack. Involvement. When someone's involved in anything, they create that buy-in. And then that is a value that you have already you're being instilled within them, because when they go out in the workplace later on in life, that is the buy-in they need to have great work ethic. Okay, as well as a good to be, excuse me, to have good integrity as well. How do they do things? So prepare, goal setting. What are your goals for the next day? Okay, and you can have a nice family meeting to discuss it. If you walk in the mornings, okay, if you walk in the mornings, that is also great. All right, great, great, great. That would also help you to get prepared for the mornings. Whatever exercise you do, you can walk at home, you can do chair exercises at home, and you can sit down and you can stretch like this, you can stretch like this, you can put your knees up, put your knees down, bend your back like cat and cow. That's cat and that's cow, when you go up. And take deep breaths. Take deep breaths. Deep in and breathe out. And you can breathe in and breathe out. And these simple exercises will help. Stretch your neck, stretch your neck, help you feel that pull here and strengthen yourself up. Strengthen your back for posture. Twist on your chair. Twist on your chair. You don't even need to get up anywhere. Hold the sides of your chair. Bring up your knees together. Put them down. Bring them up, which is also helping your core and your abdomens. And right away you feel energized. Right away you feel energized. Okay? So, better mornings. Quiet, whatever works for you. You know what, also on my birthday, it became my most favorite one of my most favorite flowers was the gardenia. The gardenia opens up in the nights and it has this beautiful fragrance. And we had a big tree in our yard. And on my birthday every year, guaranteed, I would have gardenias on my pillow the morning I wake, and a pot of pumpkin soup with dumplings and beef for lunch. That was my tradition. That was my birthday. What is your tradition with you and your kids? My morning thing for my children to help them to set their days was bringing breakfast in bed for them. I don't care what you say. You say you're going to spoil the children or whatever. I used to bring breakfast in bed for them. So even though it's cereal, whoever wants the cereal, in the night before, they will let me know what their order was. And in the morning, I would bring it up to upstairs to them in their beds. And that was my way of saying, I love you, you go out. But also that this is a standard for you, that you are value enough, you are worthy enough to have breakfast in bed every day. It doesn't have to be any quote unquote special day. We don't know when it's our last, we don't know when it's our last breath. Every day, every minute should be a special day for you and your child. Okay. And the mornings before they leave, one of the things we used to do as well, we don't do it every day like we used to when they used to go to school, but I would put my hand on their head and I would pray a prayer for them, because their head is very sacred. Everything enters the mind, the mind, the mind, the mind, the mind. Thoughts turn into actions, and actions become our character. So we have to pray for the minds where the vulnerability is for our kids. And we grew up using red lavender. put in the center of the children's heads. But no, I just place my hand on their heads. And sometimes I just know whether the words come out or not, but the intention is there. I just put my hand on their forehead and they close their eyes. We enjoy the quiet, the silence, the exchange, and then they go over the way. Never leave home without me saying I love you. If my older daughter leave home before without I see her in the mornings, I send her a text. Help your child leave home in a good spirit, so they will know that there is a level of security. That's all you're establishing for them, a level of security. Okay? So we'll go back to setting up a morning that is a success for you and your kids. And trust me, when you leave your kids in a good mood, you're going to be also in a good mood. That's everything. We have to learn coping skills and where we can just let things go over our head. Another question you can ask yourself, is this going to kill me? No? Then let them talk. Because they have to do it anyway. So what's the arguing? If they're not ready to go in the car by 7:45, you'll drive off and you leave them. Let them figure it out. My wonderful Aunt Avis, that was from her. I know that quote exists elsewhere, but she was the first person I heard it from. And I want to share it with you. Your lack of planning doesn't become my emergency. And as long as they learn that quite early, my daughter now at 21 remembers when I left her at the dance school because she didn't want to behave herself. I left her with the people and I drove off. I left and I drove off. Some people say, oh, that is child. It's not child neglect and it's not child abuse. It's teaching responsibility, accountability, and you're never too young to learn. Okay, you don't want to come? I'm not going to be begging you. You're going to be left behind until you can calm yourself down. You want to scream and have a tantrum? And that's okay. One time, one of them had a tantrum at Whitchurch, threw herself down because she wanted a certain candy or something and she wasn't going to get it. So she threw herself down and well, people can watch and say, oh, that child Malkasi, which is badly behaved. But you know what? I learned to block out the crying. I learned to block out the tantrum. You want to have your tantrum? That's a you problem, not my problem. No child going to embarrass me. So if a lot of us react to our children, react and not respond because we feel they're going to embarrass us, you see if you flip that mindset, how it works in your benefit and for the benefit of the child, where they learn to have their own solutions. I wasn't going to take her on. I wasn't going to give energy to that energy. What did she have to do? She had to stop and follow me around, even though she was crying. But children cry because that's when they push their boundaries, and that's okay. You have to learn to tune it out. And then as they get older, their crying becomes whining or nagging, and I know that can push you to the limit. But you have to find a coping mechanism that doesn't get through that wall in the greater picture of teaching them how to manage their emotions, how to stay within their boundaries, and how to stay aligned, and also how to calm themselves down. And that depends heavily on your morning routines, how your day has started. So your day mostly always starts the night before. Always starts the night before. And if you're the one who is the late planner, that is what they're going to learn from you. And they're always going to be rushing. And when we rush, we know the consequences of rushing. We forget things. No matter how well prepared you probably did a report, but you left it on the table and in the morning, you say, I'll pack it in my bag in the morning. And then you're rushing in the morning and then it's lost. Could you put back up that comment, please, Sam? I missed it. So I'm going to say good night to all my guests who are here with us tonight, who are listening on this program and making the morning. Good evening, Miss Dorval. Oh, lovely. Yeah, she's saying she always bless her children in the morning before they leave. And that is critical with all the things that are going on in this world. Thank you so much for that contribution. So much things that are going on in this world. We must, we absolutely must spend some time, you know, don't allow other people's opinions or criticisms dictate how you pray for your children. Whatever that God is for you, there's a God, you believe in a higher power. You lift your children, you place them at that altar there, and you can be lying in bed and saying it in your head. It's your relationship. It's a you and him or you and her, whoever you believe the universal God is for you. Some people say it's she, some people say it's a he. I don't know. I didn't create him. I just know he exists within me. So place your children there, because there is so much our children are going through at school with friends, and what you teach them at home, and the security they have at home, and the trust that they have at home. That's what's going to help them to make the right decisions with their peers, whether they're being influenced or being bullied or whatever it is. It starts at home, the building of relationship and the building of trust. The building of relationship and the building of trust. And a lot of it have to do with your morning routines. Morning routines. As I say, morning magic. Crafting a morning routine that sets your family up for success. Success. Okay? I'm going to go over the points with you again. As we're wrapping up the first part of our program, I would love to hear from you wherever you are. Thank you again for the honor of your presence with us tonight, whether you're watching us on IG, YouTube, Facebook, on TDN Live, or Kathy Robinson Peter Live, or SBE Radio. Thank you again so much. And don't remember to click like and subscribe. All right. So our parts in terms of talking about creating our morning magic so that everyone can leave home feeling in good spirits. Prepare in the evenings. Remember to get them involved. Have a conversation. Don't be critical. If they choose something, ask them, why did you choose that? Choose that? Why is that important to you or for you? Ask them, because they have answers. And then we have to enforce and validate them through that. It may not be what you want to wear, but if, for example, it's clothes, look at it. Is it inappropriate? Is it going to kill them? No. So whether it's gaudy or whatever, then they will learn. Say, well, if it was me, maybe I may dress differently. I may put this with that, and they may help. They may actually listen to you. But get them involved in planning their own things, their snack, if you can, their lunch, what they're going to put, how much they're going to put in their plate, because sometimes we overfeed them and we expect them to eat everything. So ask them first. Ask them. It's okay to ask your children. It teaches them that they are value. So that's the first one. Involvement in preparation in night before. And in doing that, you also do your goal setting. Goals for the next day. What are you going to do? Start prompting them to think about the next day, so they wouldn't just jump up and say, oh my goodness, I have a test. Start thinking and helping them prepare and settle themselves in for the night. When they're sharing with you, listen to understand and not listen to respond. Listen to understand with an open mind, not listen to respond. Why are we then? The other thing for the morning, when they're going to go through the checklist, prepare a checklist. At this time, this is you're going to get up. You need 3 alarms. Okay, the first one is going to go 10 minutes before. The second one is going to go on at 6. And the third one is going to go off at 10 past 6. By the third one, you absolutely have pushed the outer boundary. You're going to be late. Let them know the consequences of everything, so they will know you don't do it that, and that is what's going to happen. Why a checklist is important? Because we are taking off the openness for uncertainty. Children love structure. No matter how much they push you, they absolutely love structure. They want structure in their lives. Okay, so having this checklist will eliminate that level of uncertainty for them. If you can even put what they're having for breakfast, and that will also help you not rush in the mornings. Pre-plan your meals. You can put it on the fridge. On Mondays, you're getting bacon and eggs. On Tuesday, you're having um, chocolate cereal. On Wednesday, you're having cornflakes. On Thursday, this is what for breakfast and lunch. On Friday, so also that eliminates the extra rush and worrying for you when everything is already routine and scheduled. All right. So that's our checklist. Remember also to give them praises for the little things that they are successful about. They go up on the second alarm, woohoo, it becomes a party. Make the mornings fun. Okay, so that will be the fourth thing. Make the mornings fun. So we're having fun mornings. Whether you put on the music, whether you singing and singing together, whether you put also little love notes for them in their bags or wherever before they can get it while they're at school, or they can get it while they're eating their lunch. Put little notes for them or put a little gift. Gift giving to your children is not only at birthdays and Christmas, it's all year long. Okay? It's all year long. Don't wait for the quote unquote special days to enjoy special moments, special clothes. You bought this for them. For me, ever since I know myself, I get a new outfit. It's going on me the next morning. Trust me, it's going on me the next morning. Hey, something happened to me tonight and I cannot wear it again. Somebody else going to use it before me? No. Let them use their things. If they want to go in the car with a toy or something, allow them. Is it going to kill them? No. Is it going to soothe them and calm them and get them ready for the day? Yes. Okay, you can go in the car with this. We can travel with this. But when I drop you off at school or when you're going to school, you have to leave it with me or you have to leave it in the car. They're going to say yes. Trust me on that. They are going to say yes. Okay, so make it the mornings fun and develop a tradition of probably leaving notes or stuff like that, singing along while in the shower. I used to enjoy hearing the girls. My niece lived with me for one time, and all three of them would be singing in the mornings. That was such a joy to listen to them, singing in the morning. So make mornings enjoyable and as stress free as you possibly can. And before they leave, bless your children. Always leave with an I love you or a hug. If you're not a family that is of a hugging family or an I love you family, you can start it simply. You can always start with writing or a little gift, something that they like. All right. I really, really pray for you for this week that you can try stepping out. Or sometimes I sit and say, we say all these nice things, but I give in relatable skills for parents to work through. And this is not only for the kids' voices, is also to help us to parent these young children and these young adults. But how do we do it to be able to go beyond what we ourselves learn? Because as adults, we tend to be judgmental of other parents and think that parent is doing this, that parent is doing that. I have a joke. When we lived in St. Lucia, yes, I lived in St. Lucia, our first dog took him to the groomers. And it was in a really busy place. And I had the two girls and I had the dog. And for some reason, I wasn't packed closely or I didn't have the car. I can't remember what it was, but we were walking. And I had 4 bags because I have 2 baby bags, a dog, and my computer, and my work bag. And the dog finally is in the middle of the busy road. He has to let go and loose. And I let go of the children's hand and I'm running after the dog. Last week I was thinking about that. I'm like, oh my gosh. People must be saying, what kind of parent is that? But it was just instinct. Why am I saying that? A lot of us work on instinct. As a child says something, we snap back. Don't take a pause. Leave the gap. Everything doesn't deserve an answer. And you see how fast it's a bit of training, but it will stop. Okay? So in the light of this, make our mornings stress free for our children. Okay. So, first, we're waking up early, prepare. So, train yourself to not respond. Train yourself to see, to give them options, to give them the level of authority to make the right decisions for themselves. They can never be too young to start. I hope these 8 pointers was good for you and will help you. You can at least take one, choose one of them. And also, I remember our email is the youth effect 767 at gmail.com. You can post you can send to me things that you do that can help your day be successful or help your children's day be more successful where you set them up for success. I want to thank you so much again for listening to us at the Youth Effect. This was our first part of tonight's program where we speak on morning magic, crafting a morning routine that sets your family up for success. We're going to go to a short break, and when we come back, we're going to come back with a guest speaking on parental expectations for children. See, stay tuned. Tell your friends in the break, and stay right back. We'll see you right back. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Presented by
Running a radio station shouldn't be chaos. It should be simple, smart, and professional. With Joan Premium, your entire week schedule is beautifully organized and easy to manage. Real-time accuracy keeps your listeners in sync with every show. Your visitors and audience sees the right schedule every time, wherever they are. They can even choose different time zones. From analytics to social media and native app integration, Joan Premium is the professional tool your station deserves. You're never alone. We provide priority support for active license users. We're building a community. Connect with broadcasters worldwide through our Joan Community Hubs. Choose your plan, annual flexibility, or lifetime freedom. Get Joan Premium today. www.gndenterprisesinc.com or call 877-698-9894 for more information.
Ash? Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Here's my guest. Do you remember this beautiful, beautiful bean? Yes, she is my daughter. How are you tonight, my dear child?
I'm doing all right. Doing good.
All right. What does all right mean?
Um,
Tell us what all right means.
I'm doing well. A bit tired from the day, but I'm okay.
Good stuff, good stuff. And thank you so much for being with us on the second part of our show tonight. And we're speaking about raising expectations, unpacking the weight of parental expectations. Um, it's a thought-provoking topic because one of the things is we know as parents sometimes we lay unrealistic expectations on our children, and that affects their mental health and self-esteem. Some of us live our life through our children, things that we couldn't do, the opportunities that we couldn't get, and we're living it through our children. So we place unnecessary burdens on them. We're extremely strict, have them with bridles on, like the horses. We say you need to stay focused. And we want to also look at what's the difference between healthy ambition and unhealthy pressure, and how parents can identify and work through their own biases and expectations. How do we strategize of fostering a growth mindset and promote self-directed goal setting in your as children or young adults, and the importance of unconditional love and acceptance in parenting? How do we have open and honest conversations with our children about expectations and goals? I know this was a mouthful, but what do you gather from that conversation?
Um, okay. I see it as a parent knowing how to properly guide their child into what they might want to do. Like, I think it's easy to, for some parents, I mean, I'm not a parent, so I can't like 100% talk on that personally, but I think it can be seen as easy to bring someone into this world and be like, okay, I can fix everything that went wrong. Like, this didn't work out, but like, I can help this new person have something that works better. And the foresight is 2020 comes into play where it's like, okay, we're gonna do this and this and this so that this child's life is going to work out well. Whereas, like, as we all know, everybody's different. So even though like you try to guide a child to the quote unquote right path or the best path, it's probably not the it could it might not be the best path for them. Like, even though it's seen as a good path, like everybody sees being a doctor as a good thing, some people can't handle that pressure, or uh like yeah, things like that. Like, some people won't be able to do the same things, so it really just depends on the kind of person. And I think it's important for a parent to take time to see what kind of person their child is, even like from small, like by the time a baby is like going into preschool, kindergarten, you know the basics of their personality and what kind of person they're going to turn into. And obviously it's going to change over time because everybody changes, but like, you know the basis of their personality. You know that child doesn't like to be in that setting. Like, that child cannot sit still. That child needs some kind of activity. And then from there, you could be like, let me put them into a sport. Let me see what they like. If they don't like that sport, then okay. Some kids, they like to sit down and be by themselves. Let me put them into, let me see how they do with like an art. Let me see how they do in like in with an instrument. Like, I think it's important for parents to give their kids little trials for them to find what they like, and then let them explore that without putting too much on it. Because even though a child might like something at first and you like go into it, if you see it burning them out, then that's another conversation of, okay, let's slow it down. You know what I mean? But it all depends. It's situational. You have to like see how your child is reacting to things for you to be able to figure out what to do with that.
What about the social construct that parents are bending to, or being feeling the pressure of, my child has to be an A student, my child must play an instrument, my child must be good at this? How do you see that plays on their mental health and stress and self-esteem?
How that plays on the parents.
On the child.
So I think,
What would be your experience? Let's say, okay, I'm your mom, well,
mm,
which I am, and I forced you to do something, and you need to stick with it because that's what you need to do. That's what everybody's doing. That is so indirectly, I am forcing it because I believe that is what should be done. That is because I am creating a picture for people out there looking in. Does that make any sense?
mhm,
Okay.
I think it can build resentment. it's can lead to a lot of different things. Physically, it can lead to burnout. So them just like becoming um people can get very like detached. It can detach them from their social life. It can like it can make them moody. It can make them angry, like resentful towards their parents. And then like if a child starts becoming exhibiting negative behavior towards something that they've been doing, and they've expressed that, hopefully they would express that like verbally. But if they're also showing these signs, not expressing it verbally, but you can like see like those are happening, I would like to think that the parent would take the time to uh reflect on that and be like, why am I getting so much pushback on something like this? Why is this happening? And have that discussion with the child. And like it's very I think if you open up the way for discussion, it makes things easier for everybody. Like offer that firsthand, be like, hey, why are we so against this? And then they can take the opportunity to be like, well, I don't like it because it takes up time, or like I don't like having to do this all the time, it's tiring. Or you never know what it could be. Like if it's a sport, they could be like, I'm just so my body hurts, like I can't do it so often anymore, I don't like the pain, or something like that. Like if you open up that avenue for them to be honest with how they're feeling about it, you could find a solution together. I know some people have their kid in like 3 4 things, and it's like that's a packed schedule. And while it's good for kids to have a set schedule, it's also good for rest time. Like having nothing to do. Because I don't know where I heard it. I can't remember where. But I think it's important for kids. Apparently, it's important for kids to have quote unquote no time, so that they can have playtime, for them to have imagination time. Like for them to like boredom is important. Oh, that's it. Boredom is important so that they can hone their imagination. Because like when you have nothing to do, you have no choice but to think of something to do. Yeah. But then that's a whole separate conversation about whether parents should give their kids screen time or not. So
It is,
yeah.
well, I don't believe in coincidence, but it is, it is very interesting that you brought up that quote, because I'm reading this book by Brianna West, which speaks to 101 things, essays that can help you to change your mindset, okay, change the way you think. And one of the things that came up with regards, well, a lot of it, part of it is geared toward 20 somethings, but we are always growing. And sometimes we haven't overcome our trauma from past and everything else. But that quote came up about not exactly the way you phrased it, but how important boredom is, because everything exists in this world in duality, right? Yin yang, black, white. And if we don't have the pain, we will not be able to appreciate quiet and peace and everything else. So everything serves as a lesson for us, you know? So in terms of boredom, you jolt them. Okay, so would you like to do? What are your interests? What do you have something like that? Not to boost me up on my ego. I know exactly I'm secure in my parenting, but do you have something that you have an experience with that kind of gives a little clearer picture in terms of being molded in not in living, making your own decisions and not having external things impressed on you? Or do you, that's one? Or could you, if you kind of think about that, is that question clear? The first one? Do you have an experience that you can share where expectations were or were not impressed on you?
I mean, people expect me to sell my art, if that's something.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been very adamant about not wanting to. So that might be something. Um, I've expressed my want to keep my art as a hobby rather than a side hustle out of fear of not liking it anymore. Um, and I have been very 10 toes down on that boundary. I Yeah, I fell to the pressure a couple times, tried it out, but didn't really like it. So
And the important thing is that you went out there and you tried it, and it affirmed for you that it didn't. Did anybody listen to you, or do you still feel pressurized to do that? Or
not
pressured?
anymore.
Okay. All right. Okay. That's really, really great. Um, what do you feel between healthy ambition in a parent and unhealthy pressure? Because, for example, for example, in the United States, there's so much opportunity for doing things, for education, for doing so many things. And it can be easy to sleep as a parent, which I know I have done a lot of times, to force you all to do things. Would you expect that it could be that is healthy ambition, or is it negativity or unhealthy pressure?
I think it's it.
And
I think it
people out there who are out there, I am not coercing her to give any answers. I am quite open to my children's voice in their own experiences and their own opinions, and I'm open to it. I don't consider it criticism, but the expression of their own self. So she's not afraid to say anything that is going to come from her, and I'm not going to criticize her for it either. Go ahead.
I think this is why it's important for you to know your child, and then based on that, it depends on what you do. Like depending on what you do, can cause too much pressure. So like, why I say that is because uh let's say, okay, there is a let me use a TikTok I saw as an example. I saw a TikTok where there was this toddler still in diapers, very tiny baby, holding a bat, and the dad was like teaching the baby how to bat like a baseball bat. And the baby had really, really good hand-eye coordination. Like, I checked if it was AI, it was real. No, but it was like, I don't know what age the baby was, but standing, they could stand, and they were holding the bat, and they were like hitting the balls that the father would send, and he would send it like so that he knows it's not like gonna hit the baby on its face, but like, and he would send it, the baby would hit it and be like, okay, so you see how you did that, and he would go and he would coach the baby and be like, hit it this way so that it can hit like go this way. And it was like he was like coaching the baby, and in instances like that where you see the baby's having fun, enjoying time, and and not like, like no signs of discomfort, then you could say, okay, we could take that experience and like move it along into maybe putting them into baseball or whatever sport that they like, and then see how they like that and have them enjoy that. Where I think it can turn into pressure is if you're saying, my kid is going to be a star. He's going to stay on the field from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and he's going to practice, and he's going to like go straight into major league. And like you need to be able to like gauge how your child is like feeling something, and then be like, okay, because if that baby hypothetically decides by grade 4, they're like, I don't want to do baseball anymore. I want to draw a picture. I'm tired of going onto the field and hitting a ball. Then that parent has to accept, okay, we can do that. And like, that's just that. I feel like some parents would be like, no, you've been doing baseball for so long, you're going to stick to baseball and you're going to get your scholarship and you're going to go on. But like, if a child starts showing like they want to explore something different, something new, then you have to give them that freedom to explore what they want to explore. So I think it really depends on how somebody gauges their child, where the pressure comes in, because there's also people who even though they don't explicitly say anything quote unquote with pressure, it's like the undertones of things. Like, oh, you love this, don't you? Yeah. I spent so
Is,
much money on you already.
is
Yeah.
that gaslighting and making the person feel guilty?
Mm, I think so.
Okay.
Well, I don't think that's gaslighting. Gaslighting would be like when um if the child says like, you're always saying this to me, like you're always like pushing me, and the parent's like, I'm not pushing you. I never pushed you. Technically, I never said that you have to. But like the child can pick up on the undertones that they don't really have a choice but to continue, you know?
Okay.
I think that's what the gaslighting would be.
What,
But
what do you believe it does for the child's mental health?
oh, it can
What
send
have
them
you seen on TikTok and what is trending with regards to those things?
trending. I'm not sure, but like in terms of what I've seen on TikTok, it's like it can turn into, what do they call that again? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I forget the exact way that people phrase it, but it's a form of burnout where like people are like really on top of their clubs and on top of their sports in like elementary and high school, and then they go into college and they just feel a sense of like complete burnout, like they're like really struggling to get through with a new like the new
Routine, structure?
routine of how college is set up.
Mhm.
And because they have a little bit more freedom, they just feel no motivation to like keep going. Because in high school it's kind of like you're in class and you go straight into your clubs and then you go home and then you do your homework and then you get back into it. It's like the only like breaks you get are your holidays, like Christmas and summer, Easter.
Mhm.
But in college, it's like you can choose your classes, you can get your breaks between like during the week, you can get days off depending on how you mix up your classes and stuff. So I think like the allowance of that rest time makes people realize, oh, I've just been going, I've just been on it and on it and on it. And then that makes it worse depending on how much your clubs take from your time. Like if you have 3 clubs going to, like you're back to back, you're in school until like 6 o'clock every day, and then you go home and you do homework. Like it makes people, and burnout isn't fun either. It's like you feel you're just tired all the time and you don't have the energy to do anything, and you want to get up and you don't even have the energy to like do things you like. You just want to lay down and like sleep, and then you feel bad for sleeping like at all, like for that long. So it's not like people enjoy the like downtime. It just feels like you're using your time wrong. So there's a sense of guilt that people feel with burnout too, I think,
Okay.
because they feel like they're using their time wrong, but they're just tired.
Yeah. And that's an interesting point that you brought up because a lot of us when parents don't think our children can be tired or burn out. I can use the term burnout. I can use the term burnout because I'm an adult. What is it that you're talking to me about?
I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Okay.
I'm sorry. Can you
Yeah,
hear me?
yeah.
Yeah. It's like what does a child know or understand about burnout? And then we treat that child with that level of energy and children can pick up on it, but what are some of the things that some children can go through that we as parents and adults don't recognize it when we are putting a lot of pressure um onto our children in terms of expectations coming from our own inner biases and expectations?
Could you repeat that again, please?
What are some of the things, okay, I'll rephrase, what are some of the things other than burnout children can go through when they're living through our own biases that we exert onto them?
Um, like I had mentioned before, I think the what was the word I used?
Uh, in what context? See if I can
Towards their parents, they can like experience negative feelings towards their parents. But there was a specific word I
use it
used.
bitter and resentment,
Resentment.
bitterness.
That's the word I was thinking. They can grow resentment because I feel like if a child like expresses or shows discomfort with something and the parent decides to ignore that over and over again, it can grow that resentment. It can grow those negative emotions towards the parent, towards that specific um whatever thing that they're being forced to do. And then it just it could leak into like their school life or their club life. Like the people that they spend their time with would start feeling that energy, like you don't want to be here and we don't want to spend time with you if you're so negative and you don't want to be here. I mean that's not the case for everybody, because some people are really good at being in spaces that they don't want to be in but still like being civil with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But it depends on the person and like the age and all that stuff. But I think the resentment towards the parents is one thing, and the negative uh vibes.
What with
Yeah.
regards to that about forcing the children, isn't there a level where a parent has to stand up and put their foot down for a child to do something because it's in the child's best interest? I know I have done that with you all to a certain degree. Do you have any resentment?
No, but I mean, I mean, like I said before, I feel like that's where like knowing your child comes into play, because if you know your child and they just be an aggie because they don't want to wake up right now, but they'll be fine when they get in class. I think that's different than a child repeatedly expressing, I don't want to do this, I'm tired of this. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like I think it all depends on like knowing who your kid is. If it's something like that they enjoy something, but they're saying they keep pressing that they don't want to do it anymore, get to the bottom of why. Because like some kids might be like, well, my friends are always like doing things at that time and I want to spend time with my friends. So you could
Mhm.
come up with solutions together. Be like, okay, we can take a break for this year and then like next year you can go back into it.
Together
Like
is a critical word here.
exactly. Like you need to it's so important for people to know who their child is and have like an understanding of their personality for them to know how to go about doing things in their best interest. If you have multiple kids, you know that those kids have different personalities and do things differently. You're not going to put them in the same thing, probably. I mean, if you have kids that like the same thing, then that's great
Yeah.
for you. But
Yeah.
like so a lot of the times you're not going to put them in the same clubs, every single club the same club, because one might not like something that the other likes. You need to know the kind of people that you're raising for you to be able to like guide them properly into what they want to do.
When it comes to academic pressure, where do you feel there is a line? For those of us who grew up many years ago or many moons ago, we had this thing that we needed to complete a certain level of academic achievement.
Mm.
Otherwise, we're going to feel shamed into not meeting our potential. So we had to do this, we had to become this, we had to do this within a set time frame. Um, does that still play in, for example, the generation that you are in?
I think a lot of people now aren't necessarily pressured by wanting to have like the I think the needing to have degrees is more now because of the way that society is compared to like the way that we view achievements.
Okay.
It's because like the economy now and like getting a job, it's might be easier to like have a might be not easier, might be better to have a higher degree to get a job, even though like getting a job in general right now might be difficult. But I don't think the pressure necessarily from the achievement standpoint, but it also depends on where you come from because I know in uh Caribbean households or Asian households it might be seen as uh still seen as something that you need to do. So I think it also depends on like where you come from. Personally, this is just a me thing. I know if I cannot handle it, I'm not gonna bother about trying to do it. Cause I know for me, I wouldn't be able to handle going and trying and do a master's right now. Mentally, it's not going to work out. So I know that's the kind of person I am, but I know for some people, even though they know that they wouldn't be able to handle it, they feel the pressure of like, but I should still have it though. At least I should have that so that I can say that so I can feel secure in having it, which I feel like it's not worth it to to say you have it. Like if some people say that they have it and they feel proud in their accomplishment, that and it's worth it for you, go right ahead. But if you know it's going to break you mentally, it's going to be it's just going to be a terrible like experience.
Or to
I
prove a point as well, to
Yeah,
prove
I don't
something.
think it's worth it to go further. Like obviously some things you need to have, like if you have your high school diploma and you if you can get an associate, I think that's necessary at that point, at least like to at least break into some kind of job career space. But if you know something's gonna break you, I don't think it's worth it to do it.
But
Because at the end of the day,
we're
you're
running a
fighting.
thin line by allowing children to just say, I don't want to do it though,
Say that
and
again?
sit back. I say we might be going a thin line by, if we, especially if we have some very strong-willed children that parents do not want to push, and we know we have some of us who are enablers, you know, it might be not in the child's best interest not to push them,
Well, that's true.
because yeah.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, like I said before, like you know your child best. So like if you know like you can like direct them into like some kind of agreement. Like uh if you know your kid is not like somebody that necessarily likes school, you can be like, okay, what do you want to do? Let's see how you can get certification in that so that you can actually have something. You know,
Yes,
not
yes.
everybody can go into like a straight like finance or business management or something. But if you know your kid is like good with their hands, you can be like, okay, let's get you into a trade school. So at least you have the certification for that, so that you
Right.
can go into that. I feel like a lot of what I think a, a lot of it I think always comes back to knowing who you have as a child, like knowing the person that your child is, because then it can make it easier for some kind of conversation to be had and some kind of compromise to happen. I'm not like not saying every child is going to cooperate, because there are just some people who are difficult and will not do what they don't want to do. And for that, I cannot help because I don't have a child and I don't know how to deal with that. But
How do
having
you feel? We'll share a personal thing so it can seem relatable. I know you don't know you were doing the college online, when you started on college online, and I insisted that you must go at least a year on campus. And the first year you had a total meltdown. And I actually we discussed it a whole year in advance. You say, I cannot do it this year. I'll be ready for what was that period of time for you, and how did you feel at that time?
So I felt very angry because I understood where it was coming from, but I felt like I couldn't deal with it. I couldn't deal with going, like, interacting with people. And this is why I say you need to know the kind of person that your child is. You know that if I'm not forced into a situation, I will not go and put myself in a position to interact with people. And you saw that if I did stay online, I would have stayed stagnant, and I needed something to happen, needed to meet people, like something new to experience for me to like move forward. And we had multiple conversations at that point, and you explained it to me. So by the time that I could understand it fully, then I could be like, okay. At a certain point, I was like, okay, what she's saying makes sense. What we're discussing, I know I need it to do it. I know it needs to happen. Um, but there was still that level of anger, like I just can't get myself to, like, I'm understanding now, but I can't get myself to go through with it. So when I did go in person, I was still like feeling the anger about it because I didn't want to be there, but I knew I had to be there for my own benefit. And not everybody's gonna be like me and accepting, like, I know this is the right thing.
Right.
Some people will just be mad and it'll stay like that. But I think an important part of why I was able to get through it was because after my anger, I was able to just um, be like, well, I'm here now. I might as well do what I have to do uh, now that I'm here. No sense in being angry about it. And
So
it
you
worked
reach a
out.
place of acceptance,
Mhm.
and looked at the benefits and the pros and the cons within yourself. Okay. All right. Thanks for letting me know. I know you were angry, and you're not a person that normally get angry to the point of lashing out. And as you said about knowing your child, I knew you're angry because you lashed out many times and you raised your voice, which is not you. And it's just about giving you your time. And as Ashlyn keeps on saying, you know your child, we had to have a conversation. Well, we had that conversation from the start about you going to college. But the time when it came for you to go, you said, Mommy, I am not ready. Give me one more year. And I just said, okay, you have one more year, but then you are going after that year, So yeah, and then there are some things I try to force you to do. And you said, Mommy, I just, like the master's thing, Mommy, I just cannot do it. I can do something else, but I just cannot. And then it's about also stepping back and letting go and accepting that you're a young adult and that you believe. I always say that we have to live in the moment, even though we're 20. I mean, when I mean live in the moment, we only have the now and the present, and you live your life now because now is the only moment that you have. And a lot of us, we tend to tell our children, oh, you have all your life ahead of you. No, tomorrow they can wake up, they cannot wake up. So whatever your child is doing now, they need to be able to have some form of enjoyment of it. What do you think?
Yeah, and I also, to add on to that, the comment, you have your whole life, it's like, yes, but now is the building blocks. Like, your life is built upon, like, uh skills and memories that you've honed. And if you have nothing that you like, or like nothing that you find that you can build on, then what are you, a husk of a person at 30? Like, you need to have something that you can build on as a person, for you to be a person, for you to experience that life that's ahead of you, you know? Like, people who are just like passing day by day, and they don't know, they don't have anything that they can talk about, they don't have anything that they can say that they enjoy doing, they're just going to work and then going home and then eating and then sleeping. That's not a life. And then like and then you end up with people like, who are just passing time, you know? That's not, mm, you know, you have to be able to experience things for you to know what you like, and then like, and then and be able to enjoy your time.
And you mentioned about just passing time, and I remember that quote from Khalil Gibran and Friends, which says that your friend should be that person where you have time to live, not time to kill. And that is such a powerful phrase, time to live and not time to kill. You don't go by your friend to time to kill time. You go to share memories, create memories, and things like that.
That
As we
depends for
come,
me.
sorry,
I feel like that depends for me.
okay,
You
tell
know,
me.
it's like,
Uh-huh.
because I don't know, in the Caribbean, don't they just go on a lime just because they want to go on a lime? Like, aren't they quote unquote killing time? But like,
But they're enjoying their time together. They're living together.
yeah,
Isn't that so?
I guess.
Yeah, it's not about just going to somebody to kill your boredom. You're going as, yes, that may be part of the goal, but it's because you enjoy that person's company.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're
I
saying
would
now.
hope so,
Yeah,
you know, because you enjoy that person's company and there's a reciprocity in the relationship. We know that any kind of friendship or relationship that has any form of toxicity, you shouldn't be in it. So hopefully you share your time with people you have common interests in, and that you really enjoy. They say good food, good wine, and good company. Yeah. So that is, you are living, you're sharing an experience. And so you are experiencing life. That's in that context. Now, as we
yeah.
are coming down to 3 minutes to our end of our program, in summary, how you would summarize laying our as parents to lay our expectations down on our kids?
Allow them the freedom to want to do things, want to experience different things, but also take a step back and uh, listen to what they think about it. Listen to how they react to it. Um, Gauge their responses, and let a child decide if something's really not their vibe. Like we said, know your kid. So if you think they'll enjoy something, find a middle ground, for you to be able to know how it will benefit them, but also give them the freedom to have a say in how they decide to go about things. Um, yeah.
Okay. Um, I just want to say some quotes again that you shared, which are important. Boredom is important, so you can hone your imagination. The child doesn't always have to be in something. Nothing is something too. Downtime is something too. The body and the mind and the emotions and the physical body need some time to rejuvenate, to heal itself, to relax. Um, as well, you spoke about understanding and observing a child's gifts and talents and honing that and guiding that, and even the strong willedness of a child can be molded. So observe what your child's skills are and help direct them in terms of compatible activities, painting, music, whatever is activity or sport, and yes, uh, And then, as you said, know who your child is. You can have 15 children, and all 15 will have different things.
Yep.
Tell you parenting doesn't come with a manual, and it can be hard. You spoke to having a discussion, and some persons or parents, they never have had a conversation with their children. They do not know how. But you suggested you just sit down and listen as a first step. Be open minded about listening and ask how. How, why, and sit
Just
down with a
yeah.
big back and put on your big girl and your big boy panties and just take it as the person that you are, because we need to listen to our kids and we need to validate feelings, because
Mhm.
burnout is real, mental health is real, and by invalidating our children, that's the path in which we are sending them to. Before we close, I want to share also, in knowing who your kids are, this book by Gary Chapman and Ross Campbell, in terms of the 5 love languages of children, it's the same love languages in adults. But we spoke about it in our last season. And what's one of the things that we'll discuss in one of our programs for this season. It is important as well to know what your child's love language is, because that is how you're going to get through your child. Okay. So as Ashley said about getting to know your child and doing that. So in all that, I'm going to sum up the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. That's by Carly Young. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are, because you were born your innate self already. And as you're going through life, it's there. Everything we need is within us. It's just to blossom it out. People say they lose themselves. I've lost myself. I have to find myself again. No, just dig deep, because you've always been with you. Okay. And as parents, and in terms of laying our biases and expectations on them, that is what our goal and our aim should be in helping our children to be who they truly are, their authentic selves. Asha, I want to thank you so much for being with us again tonight. You're always one of my favorite guests on the program. You have so much insight and input and wisdom to give to us. Thank you again so much. And it's a pleasure being your mom always. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Have a lovely week. And thank you again. Okay. Thank you so much to our viewers for staying with us and for another Monday. Have an awesome week. Remember, these young minds were placed within us or with us. They are not ours. They are not off. They are just of us, but they don't belong to us. That again is a quote from Khalil Gibran on children. They do not belong to us. We have to give them to the world. As he said, they're the arrow from which they are sprung from. Okay, so we are the bow and they are the arrow and we shoot them off. But all of that is how we intentionally parent them to be the young adults and successful beings who they are. So thank you once again. Remember this quote, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are, by Carl Young. And that also goes for you. And with that, I'm going to say good night. Remember to, if you're looking at this program after, thank you so much for looking, and tune with us on Monday nights at 8 to 9:30 Eastern Time. That is 9 Atlantic time or Dominica time or Caribbean time, and to 10:30 Caribbean time. So it's 8 to 9:30 Eastern time. Thank you once again. Thank you to TDN Network for facilitating us. And remember, send your points, your comments, everything at the Youth Effect 767 at gmail.com. See you next week, Monday, God willing, same place, same time. Have an awesome week and stay blessed, stay focused. Good night.
Yeah, Woodlands, we back with another one for the youths in them. Yeah, young brilliant minds, future in sight, got the power to make change, make the world ignite. Let nobody say you can't achieve your dreams are seeds, sow and just watch them grow. But you gotta believe in them. The youth effect, we're raising up the youth effect. Can't hold us down. The youth effect, we breaking ground. The youth effect, they gonna hear us roar. Educate, we get the key, unlock the potential. A lesson every day, knowledge essential. Standing tall, walking proud, let your voice be heard. Unite together as one, spread the love with every word. The youth effect, we're raising up. The youth effect, can't hold us down. The youth effect, we breaking ground. The youth effect, they gonna hear us roar. Educate, we get the key, unlock the potential. A lesson every day, knowledge essential. Standing tall, walking proud, let your voice be heard. Unite together as one, spread the love with every word. The youth effect, we're raising up. The youth effect, can't hold us down. The youth effect, we breaking ground. The youth effect, they gonna hear us roar. Create, initiate, push through, no limits. Go ahead and live it up. Respect, positivity, you on your way. Break down walls, build bridges.